You want me to say it? I think you do. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Hi, my name's Tracey Wigfield, and I am proudly made in Jersey.
Jump on 95. Hit the turnpike, we're only in Jersey tonight.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Made in Jersey. Of course, I am Jerry Strauss. I'm coming to you this time from our home studio in Hamilton Square, and we are here to once again talk to just one of the most awesome people to ever come from the Garden State. More influential, I think, in the stuff that we like to watch than perhaps many of you realize, but we're going to get you up to speed in this conversation. She is an Emmy-winning writer behind shows you love like 30 Rock, The Mindy Project, Great News, Peacock's Saved by the Bell revival, and a lot of other things too. Of course, what we're talking about here is the latest and greatest. It is the remake of a movie that I don't think any of us knew that we needed, but we so do after watching it. Of course, we're talking about the four seasons on Netflix. It's out there right now, and we can thank Tracey as part of the team to bring it to us. Tracey Wigfield, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. It's always good to talk to you. We've caught up for various outlets over the years, some of these
Mhm.
highlighted projects, but this is a different level, man. I have to believe that this is a different type of experience for you. Just talking about it in the media, such a high profile thing with such an excellent team, such an excellent cast. Um, how you doing? How are you? You're in the
Good.
thick of things.
Good. The show just came out yesterday. And so we had a press junket in LA, and then we were promoting it in New York, and I was in Denver last night for a festival that showed it. So, it's always like high pressure when these things come out and reviews and will people watch it or whatever. But we're number one on Netflix this morning. So I'm feeling really good.
Very good. Very good. It's so interesting because I got to watch the show about a week ago, and I'll be super honest with you. I was prepared to watch an episode or two just to get up to speed as to what type of show it would be for
Yeah.
this conversation, and I binged through that thing in like
Oh, good.
36 hours. I couldn't stop.
Oh,
But
good.
it was such a different thing than what I expected just because of my familiarity with some of the other things that you've worked on.
Right.
Um and for those who don't know the 1981 movie that this is the source material of, which full disclosure, I have not seen that movie or really familiar with it at all, but definitely more mature themes here, definitely a more mature kind of story that unveils. What was that like as far as I guess your excitement about going in that direction? Does this feel like a new kind of chapter in your career, so to speak?
It does. It does. The when we first started talking about this project, we didn't know necessarily we were going to do a remake of that movie. It was Tina, who I have worked with a lot in the past. I was a writer on 30 Rock, and she produced my NBC show, Great News. Tina wanted to do a show with me, and my friend Lang, who also wrote on 30 Rock, and she was going to act in it and be back as a series regular on a TV show for the first time since 30 Rock. So, we all were talking about different ideas, and I think all three of us were sort of excited at the idea of writing something that felt tonally different than 30 Rock or Great News or Kimmy Schmidt or these shows that are rapid fire jokes and are some are streaming, but a lot of them look Saved by the Bell too, like they look like network shows. We love the idea of something that just felt a little slower and more grown up, that looked pretty, and that was digging a little deeper into like relationships and more adult relationships. So, she kept mentioning this movie as a movie she liked when she was a kid that was about kind of like adult relationships. And Lang and I hadn't seen it, and finally we watched it, and I think we all kind of were like, oh, we should just do the movie, even though I think a lot of people will not be familiar with the movie. We should just do the movie as a jumping off point, as a show.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a show about three couples and just sort of the relationships sort of in that very adult part of people's lives beyond what I guess in those more theoretically settled parts of people's lives
Right.
and how things still are evolving and unfolding. And
Exactly.
yeah, I felt so grown up just watching it, to be honest. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think it's kind of an underserved period in your life. Like, I do think there have been shows like, Grace and Frankie or whatever about older people. But specifically like middle age and relationships that are not people falling in love or, the beginning of a relationship, but people in the middle of their relationship, I think is just not something I have seen in a long time. And I think there used to be more adult shows like, 30 something or Big Chill. Like there is a genre for Four Seasons. There was a genre of kind of adult movies and TV shows about like, married people who have been friends for a long time, but I haven't seen something like that in a while.
Yeah. No, definitely refreshing. Definitely felt very different. And again, just I guess going in with sort of the expectations of not only what you've worked on, but also other Tina Fey projects and
Yeah.
such. And this is kind of seeing a lot of different people in a very different light. I want to talk more about the show. I want to go back to those for those who may not be super familiar with how you got to this point. This is like
Mhm.
that, like that moment 5 minutes into an action movie where they go, well, you may be wondering how I got here. Um, and you came from such a different place, I think, than a lot of other people who have similar stories and get to this unbelievable level of writing success that you've gotten to. Give us sort of the elevator pitch, the elevator story of that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up in New Jersey in Wayne. And I I didn't really know anyone in the entertainment industry or have family in the industry, but did you expect me to start this early? It's like the day of my birth. But
That actually, no, I'd like to go before that. Let's talk about like the journey to get to the hot. No, go on. You're good. You're good.
but when I was my first like brush with it was when I was a kid because we lived close to the city. My sister and I did like dance competitions and stuff, and we got a manager and started auditioning for commercials and TV shows and stuff. And I wasn't very successful at it. My sister more so, but we did that. And I think starting then I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to be in the business in some way. And then I went to college at Boston College, and I was an English and a theater major. And when I first got out of school, I was doing I like tried to get into the NBC Page program and didn't get in. And then I was trying to do, I was trying to like do acting and apply to jobs. And very quickly I was like, I don't know, this just seems like you're never getting to do the thing you want to do. And I had always been interested in writing. And, my first job was I was a page at the Late Show with David Letterman. So you get, it's like minimum wage and you like seat people in the audience. And from that, I got a job as like a PA on a short-lived show called The Knights of Prosperity. One of the producers of Letterman made this show. And when that show was canceled, it filmed in the same building as 30 Rock. And so I like walked around. It was like Sopranos, the original Gossip Girl, and 30 Rock, and this show all filmed in the same building. So I just walked around and physically handed out my resume.
Wow.
And they called and my old boss gave me a good recommendation, and I became a writer's assistant there. So that's just kind of a person who sits and takes notes while the writers are coming up with stories, and I pitch jokes and stuff. And after 2 years, they made me a writer there, and I wrote there. I was there from season 2 until the end, until season 7, and I wrote the finale with Tina, and that we won the Emmy for. So that was kind of the real thing that made my career. And then from there, it was easier to make a jump from show to show. And I was offered the Mindy show after that, as part of a deal that I would work at Universal under an overall, and I'd have to come out to LA. And then after Mindy, I started making my own shows, and that's what I've been doing basically for the last 10 years.
It's interesting though, like that big leap, because there's always a big leap really when anyone's pursuing a career at that level. There's a big professional leap, but also for someone in the path of entertainment, there's often that big geographic leap, especially when you're coming
Yeah.
from the East Coast to the West.
And I resisted it for a long time.
Mm.
But but it's just, it was too, and my husband's from New Jersey too. He's from Watchung, and we rent a house in New Jersey every summer, and we talk about all the time, like, oh, don't you wish we could raise kids here? But it is hard in our business. And even though the business is doing bad right now in LA and there isn't that much shooting here, it's like, you still, for like meetings and pitches and everything, you always have to be here, even more than New York, which is, frustrating.
Yes, yes. Although I hear, it's kind of a secret, so I don't know if this is an insider thing. They're building a little facility here in Jersey. Netflix
Netflix, right, is building that studio in New Jersey. Yeah, so
I don't know. I don't know if word's gotten out about that yet, as we all like drool here, waiting to see what this thing is going to be and how it's.
I think it's going to be a big thing, because tax credits in LA are there aren't really any right now, so that's why so much stuff is shooting other places. So I think there's opportunities to like have more of a business in other cities.
Yeah, yeah. You talked about kind of working your way up the ladder during your time at 30 Rock and kind of finding favor, I guess, and forming this relationship, specifically so much that you've done with Tina Fey.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game now, when you guys dive in, it's this small team, it's you mentioned Lang Fisher as well, and you dive into writing something like The Four Seasons. What is that process like? Is it old school getting together and hammering out ideas, or what is it like, and how long does it take?
Yeah, it's that. Tina lives in New York and Lang and I are in LA. So we meet on Zoom, and that's what we would do. We'd meet on Zoom and we'd talk for, a couple hours and kind of like pitch stuff or whatever. And then, Lang and I did some work on our own. And then eventually, so the three of us came up with the pitch for it, and we pitched it to our studio, and then we pitched it out to a bunch of networks. And luckily a bunch of people wanted it, and it went to Netflix, which we were all excited about. And, and when you do a pitch, especially for a show like this, we did figure out a lot of kind of tent poles of what we wanted to happen in the season, a lot of which changed, but we sort of figured that out internally, the three of us. And then that was probably December of 23 when we sold it. And then we started a couple months later with a room with like 8 people, including the three of us, kind of really getting into it, and like we had written a pilot already, the three of us, but then really breaking down, okay, what exactly are the scenes? What happens in the story in every subsequent episode?
Yeah. Cool. The idea of 2 episodes in each location, essentially. It's just to, let people know a little bit about the concept. It's these 6 friends, 3 couples. They vacation every quarter, basically every season. They go somewhere, they get together. And so we cover in the 8 episodes 4 different places, essentially, for 4 different seasons, and they're all very distinct locations. And I feel like that is kind of a common thread with a lot of what you've done. And certainly when you look to 30 Rock, and it feels like New York City was almost a character on the show. So very, like there's such a vibe for things that you've worked on related to where these things are. Was this something that was attractive to you, or something that you were kind of cognizant of in trying to just make sure that each of these locations had that feeling, that flavor of where the characters were for those 2 episodes?
Yeah, and I think that was what was exciting about the movie. It was like it was a cool premise, and it was like a container play where you don't see them at work or at their house. You only see them in this location, this kind of seasonal location. And it's not like so luxurious. I mean, some of it is, but it's not so luxurious like they're millionaires and they're at 4-star hotel 4 times a year. So I think it sounds kind of kooky when you say they go on 4 vacations a year. That's a lot of vacation. But it's like they catch up in each season with these people, and they're either, yes, they're on a getaway weekend or on vacation. One time they go visit their daughter at college, that you just see them in this, at this one specific time in this specific place. And it felt like, just as a viewer, it would be fun to kind of switch it up every 2 episodes, that you're always tuning in to be like, oh, I wonder where they're going to be in fall or whatever. And so that just seemed, in streaming, they're always like, everything has to end with a cliffhanger. You have to be pulling people into the next episode. So that seemed like a cool way to do it. Production wise, it made everything a lot harder, to shoot 4 seasons in a confined time frame.
Yeah. But it was, it gives it such a different kind of vibe, because you get through the 2 episodes and you go, okay, I want to see where they're, not only where they're going next, but also with the time jump, like what's going on in their lives.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. You've still got so much love for Jersey in you. Do you feel like in your career at some point in your life you would like to do something that's based here, that has a very Jersey centric kind of feel?
I would love to do that. The hard part is like, because I have 3 kids, like once you have kids and they start going to school somewhere, it's like the like fantasy of that becomes like a little harder to, okay, and so do I take them out of school, or because it takes a while to make a show, it's like, even not shooting, but it's like the better half of a year you're in the place, prepping and doing post and whatever. So yes, that is a total dream of mine. I think maybe once my kid, especially like, because my husband's from there too, and I've set so many things I've done in Jersey or about New Jersey, that I would love to do that one day, but maybe my kids will like be in college or something.
Yeah. All right. Let's get real specific real quick, just as while we're throwing things on the table, because we're saying Jersey, but Jersey could be Newark. Jersey could be something that feels like The Sopranos. It could be the Jersey Shore. What version of New Jersey is your dream setting for something?
Where I grew up, it's a little Sopranos-y. It's like where where some of the Real Housewives are from. I'm from Wayne, and somewhere in like Franklin Lakes, which is fancier than Wayne. And I think there, like northern New Jersey, where it's like Teresa Giudice in a giant castle, and her husband like works in garbage disposal, but really he obviously he doesn't, because he has lots of cash and stuff, and the IRS is after him. Like that is to me like the joy of where I grew up.
I like it. I'm already hooked. In the 4 seasons, looking back on it now, who do you think, because it's such an ensemble cast, everyone's great, everyone gives such great performances, who do you think was the most surprising? Because there's a lot of people who are giving performances that are different than what we normally expect them.
Yeah, I think, well, I'd say 2 of them. Like I had a feeling Coleman Domingo would be really funny, even though I've never seen him in anything funny. I've only seen him in like Oscar nominated, like very serious movies. But I had a sense we all were like, I bet that guy is funny, and he was so funny. And like, because I think if you're a naturally funny person, it comes naturally. But sometimes and usually that way is easier, where it's like, Bryan Cranston is a great dramatic actor, but he's so good at comedy. But because like so much of being good at comedy is just playing it really real and true to you. Sometimes it's harder the other way. Like you'll have comedy actors and you'll be like, oh no, you're a comedy actor, or like a stand-up or something. They aren't necessarily good at the other thing. But I would say the other one was like Carrie Kinney, who I grew up, one of my favorite shows was The State when I was a kid. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
TV. And I watched every episode and was obsessed with it. And she was on that. And and I've known her from like Reno 911 and a million like character things throughout the years, but I've never seen her do like real dramatic acting. And so when she came in and she auditioned, and was such like a natural and like emotional actress. I was really surprised and impressed by how good she is, and I'd never seen her do that before.
Yeah, and of course, Steve Carell has
Yeah,
done everything, and
yeah.
he's great in this
Like,
as well.
Steve and Tina are going to be good. Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, both of them are amazing. Will Forte is amazing. Like it
yeah,
just
yeah.
goes on and on. Um, Final question for you about the four seasons, because I certainly left the show wanting more.
Yeah.
Is there room for more?
I think there is. Like if we, it's all like, do we does Netflix want us to do more? Do people want more? Does can the whole cast come back for more? Like,
Yeah.
I think that is the sort of stuff we'll have to sort out. But like creatively, I would love to write multiple seasons of this show.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, and those who are watching this and have seen the show may resonate with them as well. You could almost just as easily see it being sort of this anthology thing where it's new characters going through the same situation, different seasons.
You could do it like White Lotus. I think I don't think we would do that, only because, I think part of it's not, part of the appeal of it is this group and their relationships and going deeper into them, that like, it does feel to me different than White Lotus in this way, that it's not just like, it's so about this location and, privilege or like some thematic thing. It's really about this crew.
Yeah.
And so I think you could do it that way, but I think my preference would be to stay with like this core group.
Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. And of course, as you said, as we're speaking, the show just debuted on Netflix. It's doing huge numbers. Everyone's watching it. It's number one. I'm sure it will be for some time, but whether you're watching this a month from when we're speaking, 6 months from when we're speaking, a year, it doesn't matter. If you have not seen it yet, check it out, because it's definitely a highlight of the platform right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Just another notch on the belt, right, Tracy?
Yeah, that's what I always say. No, you're always like terrified whenever anything comes out, because like you work just as hard on the stuff that comes out meh as the stuff that comes out really good.
Yeah.
So it's like you never know.
No.
No,
I mean,
I'm so appreciative that you said that. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Look, you're one of our own. You're made in Jersey. That's why you're here.
That's right.
And that means that just like everyone else who agrees to be on this show, part of that promise is you are going to go through the Jersey Dozen.
Okay. Got it.
So tap into it. You said you're here every year, so you're not too far removed from the Garden State experience.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Favorite Jersey Shore town?
A real weird one. I grew up, my grandparents had a house in Ocean Grove.
Oh, okay.
My favorite.
Sopranos or Jersey Shore? What is the quintessential Jersey show?
Oh God, they're both so good. Sopranos. Sopranos is I think the best television show that's ever existed. I believe. I think it's so well written and interesting and funny and sad and so good. But man, that first season of Jersey Shore, before they know why they're funny, and she's like eating a pickle and like sitting in a refrigerator and stuff. Snooky.
Snooky, yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. But no, Sopranos, obviously.
By the way, that makes you among the coolest human beings on the planet. The fact that you just compared those two and can see equal quality in both
They're
Jersey.
both really good.
Favorite place to get pizza?
There is a restaurant in Wayne called Positano that is like Steve Catalano owns it. I have gone there since I was a child. I had my daughter's first birthday there. When we're home, we have baptisms there, whatever. That's like my favorite Italian restaurant. But Vic's Pizza down the shore, is it in Asbury Park, is favorite pizza.
Awesome. You gotta have your favorites spread out throughout the state.
North and south.
Road trips. Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
It's Springsteen. Yeah.
Never hesitation. Everyone is
Because
always
everyone's
very.
saying, I mean, Bon Jovi's good.
Oh no, but I mean, so if they're voting for Bon Jovi, they're equally quick
I see.
on
Okay.
this. Best live show memory in New Jersey concert.
Oh, a concert. I went to Dave Matthews Band. This is how old I am. Dave Matthews Band at the Meadowlands. That was really good. I also saw Springsteen when I was in high school. I think also at the Meadowlands, and it was so good.
Awesome, awesome. Parkway or Turnpike?
Um, Turnpike, I think. I don't think I go on the Parkway that much. Do I? The Garden State Parkway? Not that much.
Down the shore.
Yeah, when I go down the shore.
Okay. Best place to grab a beer.
A beer? Oh my God. Um, you know what? Oh, there's there's this place. Wait, oh, I forgot the real name. Is it Maggie's? There's this place in Wayne that my dad called the pub that he always wanted to go to, and my mom and sister and I was like, no, we would never let him go. But one time we did let him go, and we had a beer at the pub.
Okay. Pork rolls or bagels?
Pork roll, but it's Taylor ham, not pork roll, right? You call it pork roll?
I mean, around and I'm in Mercer County, around where we
Okay.
live. Like because I don't eat them, but I mean, I see people refer to them as pork rolls on signage, and
But
I
have
hear
you
them say
heard
pork roll.
people call it Taylor ham? That's what it was when I was growing up.
I mean, maybe in life, but
People call it Taylor ham, and I'll tell you, just like within the past week, he was telling friends about how good Taylor ham is, and you can order it on what's that website where you order food from all over the country? But I forgot. But he no, but he ordered a bunch of it from New Jersey, and now we eat it in LA, and he
yeah.
gave some to his friend.
Is it just as good shipped?
You know what?
Shipped across
It was just as good. It was really good.
Nice. All right. Favorite mall?
The Garden State Plaza.
Okay. Have you been to the American Dream?
Of course, I've been many times. It's like something in Dubai. It's like completely insane. Why does that exist? It's also, I feel like it's always empty, and it's humongous. It's like crazy where
It's
you eat at that one restaurant and you can see a ski slope out the window. Like, I want to see the financials on that. Is it doing okay?
I always say if we've been sliding under the radar for alien invasions, that's the thing that's going to get on their radar and
Wait, what is
destroy
this?
us.
An indoor roller coaster next
They
to
have yeah, there's amusement parks, there's all
yeah.
sorts of stuff. Yeah.
No, I've been many times.
Jersey icon they should name a rest stop after. Are you familiar with the renaming of these rest stops
Yes.
after?
Yeah. There's a Bon Jovi one?
There's definitely a Bon Jovi one,
I've
yes.
been to a Bon Jovi one.
hmm
Does Kelly Ripa have one? She's good.
I'm pretty
Proud
sure
of
not.
her.
I should have a list, but I don't believe she has one.
You know
So
what? Should give her one. Give Kelly one.
sounds good. Okay, this kind of tells you where your heart lies in New Jersey, and we know where this is going to go. New York teams or Philly teams?
New York.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's borderline for people more down south, and of course, you know
Yeah.
where I live, it's
Eagles.
all Philly in every store.
Oh,
Hard to-
really? Wait, so how south are you?
I am near Trenton. I'm not super
Oh, okay.
south, but
You're in, yep.
across the border.
No, my
Yeah,
husband's like diehard Giants. So,
gotcha. All right, last question, and this is open-ended for you, so you take this wherever you want to go. We're going to ask you, why do you love Jersey? And the only requirement to this statement you're about to make is that it needs to be kick-ass.
kick-ass. Oh man, I don't know what that means. It's the people, right? It's the people. Everyone acts like they are your uncle who's known you for forever, right? Like they like boss you around and like tell you oh, you know what you have to do? You have to go to this place or whatever. Like it's just Italian men like yelling at you. That's what I like about it.
I feel like we just got some insight into you psychologically, but that was awesome. Thank
Yeah, bossy Italian men. That's what I like.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and again, thank you so much for being on the show. We know
No,
that
it
you're
was a
swamped.
pleasure. I like questions about New Jersey. Those are the only ones I ever want to answer. I
Okay.
don't want to talk about the show anymore. Just New Jersey
We won't tell Netflix, but
stuff.
we want you guys to check out the Four Seasons on Netflix, of course. Check it out again and again. I'm maybe rewatching it in the next week or so. Um, I, I just, it'll live in your brain. It'll live in your head for a while. So it's
Thanks.
a fun watch, and everything you do is great. So, we'd
Thanks,
love to
Jerry.
connect.
Compliment on a Friday morning. Confidence.
Well, look, and we will keep our ears out for announcement of more of this show and or whatever you're doing next, or whenever you do that Jersey project. We're going to find an excuse to bring you back on, talk to you about the next thing, as we always do, and we're
Great.
excited. We're excited. So thank you
Cool.
so much. Thank you guys for checking us out here on Made in Jersey. Once again, please subscribe. It is free. Please share. That is also free. It's helpful. It makes us grow, and it helps us bring great guests on the show like Tracey. So thank you guys. Thank you, Tracey, and see you next time.